So what I want to talk about is this T value, which is tied to this transferable component of the valuation, and that the R factor is the relationship factor, or the responsibility factor, or the role factor, and that if there's a really high reliance on the owner for either relationships or senior roles and responsibility, then I've seen a correlation, an inverse correlation to the amount of the purchase price that comes in cash at closing. So if the owner is very, very, very involved and owns relationships with clients and is responsible for key functions in the organization, in a transaction, the transferable value of that cash flow means that the buyer is going to be somewhere down here, in that they're not going to be willing to write the big check. The transaction will have a lot of terms in it based on the ability for those earnings to be realized in the future without either with the person playing the role as an employee, or without the person, and then they've transitioned responsibility to key employees. If, on the other hand, the owner's done a good job and the team is very capable, and there's a highly functioning leadership team, then chances are we're going to get a really high amount of cash at closing. And I've never had any client get 100% of their sale proceeds in a third-party sale in cash. So my range would be 80, I would say 80%. In many cases is a really good outcome for a sale, but others perhaps have experienced 100%, and good for them. They really did a good job in creating transferable value on that, and the buyer was very confident in the future. So the T value in the valuation calculation is, from my one of the things that owners can work on in advance of a sale. So if you are looking at selling to outsiders and you don't have anybody that's playing roles, then chances are your transferable value is going to be low and your cash at closing is going to be low. So you might decide to wait a few years to sell. In the management piece, this is going to be essential that the leadership team has the ability to assume responsibility for these roles so that they can meet the expectations of the lender who is going to help finance the transaction.